Hello, à tous sur la ventilation pour essayer de reproduire
tropics.
this.
First of all, I need to visit the Colonial Collection Room to see how...
Bon, bah, on court. Essayons de comprendre. Bon. Bon, ils sont, je pense, tombés via...
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
C'est parti, on y retourne. Hop. Non.
Watson.
Mauvaise taille, c'est de l'autre côté pour y aller. La musique qui met bien dans l'ambiance.
The power is on. The engine cannot be started. The engine has started. The power is on. The ventilation system is working.
Bon, bah repartons. Allons voir Watson. Il va se prendre des trucs sur la fille.
Now we need to see if we can activate the fans from Mr. Hamish's and Albert's space.
Oh, ouais, c'est compliqué, hein.
Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window. Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
Donc c'est Hamish qui a tué.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
Ok. Donc, les études, usage de la ventilation pour précision mortelle. Martine Amish a eu l'occasion de stimuler de plus en plus plantueuse qui était un autre. Ok, qu'est-ce qu'on a d'autre? L'ambition d'Albert, les études de White, Vol. Non. Précision mortelle. Rien n'indique que les connaissances utilisables étaient pour la réaction correcte chez les plantueuses. Ouais, ouais, mais ça ne va pas avec l'opportunité qu'il y a. Donc, admettons que c'est pas elle. Précision mortelle, l'ambition d'Albert. Ouais, mais chacun a... Albert n'est pas très doué, il est peu probable qu'il ait appris comment forcer les plantes à libérer. Ça, je suis plutôt d'accord. Et il reste plus que... Ouais. Et maintenant, que faisons-nous? Devons-nous interroger les autres?
Nursery. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
Ouais, je sais, je peux... voir le divin syndicat, je vois pas d'autre solution pour le moment. Parce que j'ai cherché et j'ai pas trop... Ouais, bon, pour le moment on n'a pas grand chose. Qui est coupable? Allons parler encore à ce jeune homme.
Follow my path, and better you will feel.
Bienfaiteur.
The list of plant friends and benefactors, lawyers, well-known manufacturers, political leaders.
J'ai perdu Watson, j'ai l'impression. Je commence un peu à avoir le tournis. Alors lui, c'est qui?
You came to make a donation?
Ils sont tous drogués, hein. Découvrir ce que cache le divin syndicat, ouais, mais... On voit rien qui puisse m'aider pour le moment. Ah,
A fragment of a flower pot.
ah donc.
Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here.
Toile de jute.
The Kew Gardens symbol.
Quelqu'un a interchangé les deux? Quelqu'un a interchangé les deux pots. Ou dire les livreurs sont gourés. C'est quand même très grave. Allons-y.
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search? Sacrilege.
No, really now. There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago. And we believe the pots we found here may be connected with it. Please tell us, were you involved?
No. Those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his greenfly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. so we went in and saved them.
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
Il dit à Samuel toutes les plantes de l'expression y compris les espèces tueuses. Il est possible que les s'en soient servis pour assez. Syndicat a tué d'une. Non, je pense pas que ce soit ça. Je pense que c'est pas ça. Je pense que... Je pense que c'est plus complexe que ça. En tout cas, on a résolu un truc, donc il faut savoir qui a tué Monsieur Morgan Dune. Et là, voyons à Scotland Yard, voyons voir s'il reste des trucs à voir. Parce que... Bien ça utiliser les plantes à Kane pour assassiner... Ah non. Quelqu'un a volé les plantes seules, on peut dire ça n'en a pas. Ouais, je pense que c'est ça. Admettons que est inexpérimenté. Ah, Martin coupable. Martin Amish a eu l'occasion de voler les plantes du divin soleil de stimuler. Arrêtez, il est temps d'apprendre Martin Amish. Ouais.
Let's go to Scotland Yard.
Arrêtez. Pas inculpé, on a dit. Hein.
Locked.
Contacter l'estrade pour faire arrêter.
Mr. Holmes?
Il est où, mon cher ami
A
l'estrade?
very good day to you, my friend. Is Inspector Lestrade in?
The inspector's waiting for you in his office.
Dans son bureau? Il est où son bureau? Ah, et voilà. Allons arrêter.
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around
Ah,
to
je
arrest him.
savais.
Very good.
Alors, je pense pas que ça... Peut-être c'est lui. Moi, je pense plutôt que c'est la meuf. Ah, il y a quand même 2-3 trucs qui me paraissent bizarres. Hein. Bon, il est plutôt bien expérimenté, c'est juste que tout tombe si on... En fait, c'est d'opportunité. On va voir. Bon, je pense qu'on va au jardin. Faudrait que ça prenne autant de temps encore. Oh mon dieu! Enfin! Oh purée! Non, je dis pas que le jeu il pèse lourd en soi déjà. Allez. On va y arriver. On va y arriver. Nous allons y arriver.
Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
Yeah.
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
On a une petite lettre. Enfin. La vie m'est devenue insupportable. Faire d'une méritait certes sa mort, mais je ne peux me pardonner d'avoir son sang sur les mains. Les Amish ont toujours été victimes des circonstances. Je n'y fais. Adieu. Ouais. Ça me paraît pas aussi simple.
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case.
Oh, wow. C'est bot la fonction. Il ne pouvait pas courir en raison de la torsion tibiale de son pied. Il convient donc de deviner s'il a eu le temps de verrouiller la porte de la collection coloniale et d'activer le système. C'est qui est lui un complice. Nous devons discuter avec l'estrade de l'impact que... ok. Discutons. Où es-tu, l'estrade? Il y a... Inspector Lestrade.
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
Je pense que c'est la fille
You mean to
qui-
say that somebody helped him?
Ouais.
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map
Well-
at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Ah bah voilà, au moins j'ai pas
Let
écrit.
us analyze the facts and statements
Ok.
so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
Putain, c'est pas mal ça. Alors... C'est quoi? Albert rencontre Montaigne et Martin Aniche à la granderie. Putain. Ah j'ai pas... Martin Amiche et Montaigne sont allés... Attends, Martin Amiche. Albert rencontre Montaigne et Martin Amiche à la galerie. Vers 9h30, c'est ça. Donc Martin Amiche et Montaigne sont allés retrouver Albert à la galerie vers 9h30. Ok. Il était environ 10h moins 20 quand Amiche et Montaigne... Amiche sont sortis dans l'arrière-cour. C'est ça. 9h40. 10 minutes plus tard, Dune a repris son inspection. Dune. C'est qui Dune? Non, Dune, c'est le gros mec, celui. Dune. Des articles. La serre des articles. 10 minutes plus tard, donc ça va là. Ok. Amish, quant à lui, est retourné à la grainerie. Amish. D'accord. Martin Amish s'est entretenu avec Miss White. À 10 heures. Après. Attends, Martin a mis son à 10 heures. Miss White est restée au laboratoire jusqu'à 11h moins 20. Heure à laquelle elle a vu Amish et Albert dans la serre. 11h moins 20. Amish a couru prévenir Albert. Amish a couru. Amish a couru. Albert voit Amish entrer. Amish entre après Albert voit Amish entrer après avoir rendu visite à Amish. Amish a couru à première vue, c'est un peu que Montaigne était souffrant aux alentours de 10h30. Albert a passé toute la matinée dans la grainerie, il a passé Amish qui est entré après avoir... Attends, Albert a passé toute la matinée après avoir rendu visite à Miss à 10h10. Et donc Albert, Martin Amish rentre après cet entretien avec Madame White. Amish a couru prévenir Albert, c'est ça. Il a aperçu Amish qui rentrait après avoir rendu visite à Miss White à 10h10. Hôtel.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20.
Ouais.
Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door. More than enough time.
Donc c'est Madame qui a
Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
Pas d'Albert. Martin et Amish ne sont pas complices. Donc Albert 10 minutes sans... Mais ça avait 20 minutes devant elle, s'il vous plaît. Je pense que c'est ça, c'est Miss White qui a tué... identifié les complices de... Et je pense que c'est ça. Je pense que c'est Miss White. Je pense que c'est Miss White qui a tué... qui a tué. Bon, allons voir si je me loupe pas. Pas mal de trucs à chronologie de petits jeux là, j'ai bien aimé. Pas facile, mais j'ai aimé. Enfin, des petits trucs comme ça qui sont pas mal. On arrive où? Où est-ce qu'on va? À Scotland Yard, sûrement. Peut-être.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication. After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining: the deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her, quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me. But she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right. You can count on me, Holmes.
Ça va, c'est bien Ed. Haha.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over, perhaps. One moment you were here, and the next, you were on the other side.
The other side? No! Stop!
Faut que j'arrête.
I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer. Not one step further.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Alors, la mort ne vous va pas si bien.
Well done, Watson. She was not faking.
Miss White, you have no right to take your own life.
Non, c'est quelqu'un d'autre qui a le droit de le faire.
Dr. Watson? Did you just save me? Or worse?
Bon, est-ce que c'est le cas? Oh oui, White est complice, et on a condamné White et on a pris tous les trucs. Attends. Tadam. Bon, il reste plus qu'une enquête. Mais on a bien avancé, hein. Je suis plutôt content. Ouais, je suis plutôt très content. Donc il en reste plus une qui s'appelle Secret au clair de lune. Eh ben, celle-ci était bien longue, cette enquête. Mais elle était plus intéressante que celle avec le train fantôme, je l'accorde. Espérons que la suivante soit bien, mais pas trop longue et pas trop longue à charger aussi. Allons-y. Toby. Malheureux chien.
Where are you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson.
We have. Where to?
To the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet.
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, Sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Ah, sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
Ah, I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes, it's my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, because I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
And forget about the dinner? Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
Non, j'ai 2 lieux. Que je vais ailleurs. Ça me fait toujours marrer ça, je sais pas pourquoi.
Hello, Toby. All you need now is a shawl and a mock cap, and you could be Mrs. Hudson's younger sister.
Ah, une petite date, c'est vrai. Notre précédente. Sans c'était un mode d'un genre nouveau, l'arsenal de nos criminels modernes se dote des plantes empoisonnées. C'est beau ça. N'est-ce pas? Allez, hop. Ouais, alors, on va d'abord aller à Scotland Yard. Poser des questions. Dernière enquête. C'est pas mal, j'aime bien ces jeux d'énigmes. Ça change des jeux d'horreur et FPS qu'on va jouer sous peu. Dites-moi de Louisine que j'ai hâte d'avoir. Sous peu, c'est dans 2 semaines, même moins de 2 semaines qu'il sort. Dans le...
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Bon. Non. Double meurtre, je suppose que... Bon, allons d'abord... Voyons voir.
These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco.
Et en intéressant, on a une
A
montre.
cheap watch, bought with his own money. So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder.
J'ai trouvé le... Comment ça marche hein? Ah. Voilà.
2 out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots.
Ouais, bien. Continuons notre petite visite.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
Allons-y.
Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you?
I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work, and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw two men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
Cette analyse. Alors, cicatrice profonde, bagarre qui a grandi dans la rue. Bon, rien de très... Coup récent, résisté à l'arrestation, tête brûlée. Bon, d'accord. Gratte-papier. Otage de la prison, a fait de la prison, a commis un crime. Bon. Temps de
So
revenir.
you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand, though. I took it, and then I followed the third man.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man.
D'accord.
Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps... It's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
En gros, il y a un truc avec ses
We shall
chaussures.
see you soon, young man.
Bon. Est-ce que les deux morts sont en bas? Non? Bon. Allons examiner la scène de crime. Est-ce qu'on a des petits trucs déjà, des idées intéressantes? Témoignage, aucun butin. Ouais. Ok, allons voir ce qui se passe là-bas dans la rue. Magnifique. Des choses intéressantes à voir? Non. Que c'est sombre. Ah.
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes, is that you?
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving. Who were the victims?
The two men here, both shot. The stab fellow was Brian Vacotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
You spoke of statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were two other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
What were the fireworks in honor of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Ah, yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course. Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard?
Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story?
Il m'a l'air un peu... Médaille, balaclava, guerre de Crimée, vétéran de guerre. Donc c'est un vétéran. Besoin de s'appuyer, pas de folle, claudication. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? Il doit y avoir un truc. Humble. D'accord.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started.
A
A few moments after, I clearly heard 2 gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw 2 bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Were the 2 shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment. Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with a gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
Première idée. Mais est-ce reste à faire témoignage contradictoire. Des coups de feu différents. Si Turner a entendu une différence entre les coups de feu, c'est qu'en réalité 3 ont été tirés, un premier isolé puis 2 simultanément juste après. Well.
Mrs. Howell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony, but very well.
Ouais, elle me paraît bizarre cette fille. Non,
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes. I was selling my flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Mrs. Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street, prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
Ah merde, je peux pas ouvrir la porte? Attends, mais c'est bizarre parce que...
Lock.
Ah non, c'est juste pour dire que tu peux pas. Ok, qu'est-ce qu'on a d'autre par là? Miroir.
This mirror is turned towards Half Moon Street.
Ah non. Je me dis que le miroir a pu jouer un rôle important dans le truc. Très intéressant.
Locked.
Bon, analysons le corps. Alors, monsieur, alors la main.
He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant.
Okay.
The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound.
La tête, on va voir.
Brian Vercotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to die. A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there. Brian Vercotti and Leighton Chapman both have identical Westgate Prison tattoos. They were most likely acquainted. The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance. A piece of wood that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look. This is an ordinary key.
Deux victimes, aucun butin, non. Les meurtres ont été victimes d'un double snap apporté par une seule personne. Ouais. La personne de 1 décrit que le sondage est pur produit de son image créé pour se discuter. Ouais, je sais pas. Beaucoup de témoignages. Voilà, c'est dommage. Un écrit, même tout, hein, c'est pas. Attends, est-ce que je peux encore? Non, je pense que c'est fini. On ne peut pas faire plus pour le moment, alors.
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
Est-ce que j'aurais des questions? Alors, il y a peut-être eu un échange de tirs. Il faut examiner le corps reconstituer la scène. À demander, connaît l'une des victimes. Et Monsieur Turner peut être resté à la fenêtre de son appartement. Ouais, allons-y.
Mr. Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime, is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
That is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly. This kitchen knife is quite sharp. There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper. So, that's the view Mr. Turner had when he opened the window. Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse. The dead body of Kenneth Butler. Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime scene. He saw the bodies clearly, and Leighton Chapman standing over them. Ago. The papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here. These words are illegible. The papers were thrown into the fire just a short while ago. The books on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here a short while ago.
D'accord, nickel. Tiens donc.
A perfect match. So, Mr. Turner broke his stick when it became stuck between the cobblestones. He did not mention that he was so near to the victims.
Tiens donc. On apprend des choses sur ce monsieur. Le seul témoin, plutôt.
Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by...
Ouais. Bon, voyons voir Monsieur Turner et lui poser 2-3 petites questions sur tout ça.
Anything else you...
Bon, donc pour le moment, on va jouer la carte de je ne sais pas. Allez.
A fairly long pole with a forked end. A fairly long pole with a forked end. I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp. This should be useful. This is most definitely a bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh. Watson, there was a third shot fired in this street.
Ok. Oh, c'était Marrow que je voulais voir. Il est où? Il est là. Brigadier Marrow. Reconstituer la scène.
Constable Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood.
Donc là, faut que je joue à me cacher.
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp while hiding in the street.
Ok, qu'est-ce qu'il reste à achever? Tâchez d'expliquer la conversation dans le témoignage de Turner en lui parlant. Il y en a du nom. Le coin visible. Non. Si l'on postule qu'il y avait une autre personne, au moment duquel ne pouvait ni reculer ni avancer, sa seule issue était de grimper au grand élection en simulant l'éclat du feu d'artifice écrit. D'accord. Trouver une lance usée et du matériel d'escalade. Alors déjà, on va aller voir Monsieur Turner et essayer de comprendre ses incohérences.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
Wow. Un s'est levé. À couper. À ouvrir la fenêtre. À couper du papier. Non, attends. Le premier, c'est ça. Un, il s'est levé. Deux, a ouvert la fenêtre. A coupé du papier. C'est la prochaine étape.
No, it didn't happen this way.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
Soit un, il s'est levé. rapprocher du corps. On va couper du bois. Non, c'est pas ça.
No, it didn't happen this way.
Pas facile hein, suivre le truc. On va demander, connaît des... Oh là là. J'ai entendu. Bonsoir, vous de oui, j'étais déjà couché quand le feu d'artifice a commencé. Quelques instants, j'ai entendu des sons de... Je me suis levé en toute hâte en prenant la lampe de chevet et je me suis rué à la fenêtre. Quand j'ai regardé en bas, j'ai vu de corps en noir, un homme militaire. Je crois, il a couru vers... J'avoue que non... C'est deux coups, hein. Il a semblé intéressant. Qu'avez-vous fait après avoir rejoint un peu par peur que l'homme... Je suis resté à la fenêtre jusqu'à voir les policiers pour témoigner. Vous avez dit être demain, n'est-ce pas? Oui, je suis resté à la fenêtre jusqu'à que... Ouais. Bon. Faudrait que je trouve un truc de feu d'artifice. Où est-ce que je peux trouver des feux d'artifice?
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation.
Attends, peut-être lui il pourra me
I'll
trouver
do anything to save my brother, Mr. Holmes.
Lock.
I suppose that I shall have to move my
Locked.
Ok, alors est-ce qu'on te le en garde? Pas facile à reconstituer la scène. Escalade, faudrait des témoignages contradictoires. Direction stimuler l'éclat d'un feu d'artifice, mais ça... Qu'en veux-tu faire?
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Vieille connaissance de victimes, témoignage, aucun victime. Qu'est-ce qu'il a? Le témoin connaissait avec qui il a pu tuer pour un motif personnel. Et un double assassinat et tout ça, du point sur il est, mais je pense pas. Voilà. Non, non. Je veux dire, je pense plutôt sont morts en s'entretuant. Et que la position, si Turner a entendu une différence de goût, c'est en réalité 3 coups qui ont été premiers. Voilà. Ouais, pour le moment, j'ai pas trop d'indices, je l'accorde, je l'accorde. Il reste encore des zones d'ombre dans tout ça. Retournons à Half Moon Street. Pas facile à reconstituer une scène. Donc dans les trucs à faire, il me reste trouver un pistolet et lance-fusée pour simuler le feu d'artifice et des options permettant d'escaler le mur. Tâcher d'expliquer avec mon introduction. Ouais, alors, trouver un pistolet et lance-fusée.
I'm always wondering what's on your mind, Holmes.
Oh. Ah. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Quelque chose de nouveau? Ah, tiens.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours. It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
I'll do anything to save my brother, Mr. Holmes.
Bon. Je pense qu'il s'est levé. S'est levé. S'approcher du corps. Ranger sa canne. À couper du papier, à jeter ça et... Il se lève.
No, it didn't happen this way.
Il s'est levé. Alors. fenêtre. S'approcher du corps. Arranger la canne. Il regarde par-dessus la fenêtre. Il va voir sur place. Casse rien, il prend un truc, il se casse. Il remonte. Il range sa canne. Il va couper du bois.
So Mr. Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, what did he find?
Ok. Livre. Trace graisseuse.
I can see prints from greasy fingers upon the cover of this book. Let us take a closer look.
Moby Dick.
Well now, what a find! A precious jewel, concealed inside a book.
Très intéressant. Et qu'est-ce que c'est que ça?
A bracelet with a unique ram's head design. A distinctive feature of ancient Grecian artifacts, probably of the Hellenistic era.
Bon, au moins on a réussi à reconstituer cette scène. Allons-y, allons parler maintenant à Monsieur Turner. Il y a un peu perdu à la fenêtre.
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age. And when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
Marche truc.
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right leg. It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or someone in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something. But it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Oh, time can pull tricks on you.
And what of everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and true statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
Mr. Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then, and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
This, Mr. Turner, does not look like anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
No, merely correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles. Constable Marrow was unable to see you in the window as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad. I'm just a poor man. When I chanced upon the bracelet, I saw it as an opportunity to make a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's all, I swear.
Made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal. I believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
Bien. Remonter la piste du bracelet. Donc, faut que je consulte mes archives. Il faut que je trouve aussi un pistolet à fusée pour pouvoir... Alors, est-ce qu'il y a des trucs? Ah, voilà. T'en as entendu un. Double obsessionnel. Ouais. Je pense pas que ce soit ça la conclusion, mais bon. Il faudrait du matériel pour pouvoir monter, escalader.
I'm always wondering what's on.
Alors, bon, pour le moment, on va aller voir nos archives. Donc, retournons. Bah, tout ce qu'il faut faire, trouver un pistolet d'ensuite, des instruments permettant d'escalader le mur. Faut aller s'informer sur le bracelet. Donc des outils pour escalader le mur, j'en ai pas trouvé. Alors ça j'en ai chez moi.
My analysis table. It is useful.
Ah non. Allez, on va voir ce qu'on peut trouver. Alors, bracelet, un bracelet, il est décoré. Donc dans les journaux, non. Je pense pas que ce soit des journaux qui m'intéressent. Architecture. Bracelet antique trouvé dans l'appartement. Art et architecture. Non, techno, histoire. Égypte antique.
That is not the one I need.
Botanique. Journaux, non. Je pense pas que les journaux m'intéressent. Pas cher. Poison, blessure, arts martiaux, marques et symboles.
That is not.
Symbole
That is not.
Non, je suis en train de faire n'importe quoi. Un bracelet antique trouvé. Il est décoré de têtes de mouflon aisément reçues. Tête de mouflon. Voilà.
Here it is.
Depuis 85.
I need to continue my research in my archives.
Donc en 85. Élément paru en muséum en 85.
That is not the one I.
Voilà. Un vol de trésorerie a eu lieu hier soir. Un prêteur égal contacté. La police a dépendu. Voilà, j'ai cherché à quitter long.
Here it is.
Okay.
One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Ouais. Alors attends une seconde, on va y aller. Je vais voir. Ah. Non, j'ai pas besoin de... C'est plus pour voir s'il n'y avait pas un pistolet. Pisto fusée.
Hello, Toby. All you need now is a shawl and a mop cap and...
Allons-y. Prêteur sur gage. Prêteur sur gage. Est-ce qu'on peut faire avoir des nouvelles idées dans Antiquitaire? Non, je pense ouais, c'est vraiment con ce que j'ai. Pour le moment, on va rien toucher. Je pense que l'antiquaire c'est la dernière personne à analyser en termes de usage. Hop. Bon. Essayons.
Mr. Butler's key.
Magnifique. Examinons un peu le comptoir. Un collier.
The ram's heads. This necklace, interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft.
Bon, bon voleur quoi. Une lettre. Je me rappelle que tu m'as parlé de 3 antiquités grecques, des bijoux en or, tu les as toujours. Figure-toi, j'ai trouvé un daim huppé qui raffole de ses breloques. Je t'ai rencontré, je t'attends un dimanche soir au carrefour de la et au conseil. Tiens donc.
It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
Ok, comptoir, on est bon. Étagère, examiner.
This is exactly what we need in order to imitate the flash of the fireworks.
Magnifique. Il faut juste en plus un truc pour escalader et on sera les rois du monde. Oh putain, ici ça rame. Incroyable. Ah, étagère. Ouais. Alors qu'est-ce qu'on a?
These tools are exactly what I need to climb the wall.
Magnifique. Je pense avoir rien oublié. Allons-y. Oui, juste à côté, on pourrait faire le trajet à pied. Hein. Antiquité, les bijoux de témoignage de l'état. Ah, tada. Mobile, le butin. Le crime est peut-être lié à la recherche des trésors artistiques. Ah. Non, non c'est pas ça. En fait, faut juste que j'arrive à reproduire que le mec a escaladé et tout ça. Et c'est pour ça qu'il n'entendait pas les bruits de pas, parce qu'il avait ces semelles. Peut-être. Bon, allons voir le... Ah, encore une petite scène avec le gamin, c'est ça? Peut-être.
Why are you looking at me all the time like that?
I'm just watching you, lad. I never know what to expect from people like you.
Non, mais
People like me?
Yes, street beggars and thieves.
I ain't a thief.
Oh no? Then where did you get whatever it is that you're gnawing on? I very much doubt that you bought it.
What ain't seen can't hardly be stolen.
D'accord, bon. Allons-y, brigadier, moitié. Je sais plus comment il s'appelle. Bon, brigadier.
Constable Marrow, Watson, I would like to perform another kind of reenactment with your help.
I'm listening, Mr. Holmes.
I want to check if Leighton's testimony can be trusted. If someone could vanish into thin air at a specific moment.
But Holmes, I don't see how.
I am going to be the mysterious gentleman whom Leighton followed. I will stand exactly where he saw him before he was blinded by the flash. Watson, you will be Leighton. When I fire the signal flare, you should start to chase me.
I understand, Holmes.
You, Constable Marrow, just play your part and do exactly as you did. Just, please, wait 5 seconds after the signal flare, I doubt that Polly Powell would have screamed any earlier.
As you say, Mr. Holmes.
Let us begin then. Catch me if you can.
J'adore ça.
I'm always wondering what's on.
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
Such a young man, and already a...
This wall is cast in shadow. It would be difficult to see anyone scaling it.
I can barely see anything. Holmes? Are you there?
I should try climbing faster.
I can barely see anything. Holmes? Are you there? Where is he? My God, a man can't just disappear like that. Holmes? Holmes? Where are you?
I cannot see you, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson, it seems that Mr. Holmes has disappeared.
Don't worry, gentlemen. I am up here, above your heads.
How on earth did you get up there, Holmes?
I am using crampons and a climbing axe, although the person we are looking for did not leave any traces of such tools. Constable, is there any way to get to the top of this building?
Yes, Mr. Holmes, I can show you. The door to the building can be found from Whitechapel Street.
Gentlemen, I am on my way down.
D'accord.
These shards of glass are from the window above. It's... Someone broke through the window to get inside the attic, but in his...
Ouais. Tissu bon marché, fibre noire.
A cluster of thick black threads. They're unusually strong. I should examine them under the microscope. We can conclude that the person whom Leighton saw climbed up the wall, broke into the attic window, and escaped through the hatch.
Ah. Nous avons corroboré sur laquelle à l'est aurait parti la fusillade. Voilà. Mobilisé. Non. En fait, c'est l'homme imaginaire. Bon. Allons. Je pense qu'on aura peut-être fini. On se fait encore une petite 5-10 minutes. On a peut-être fini le jeu, ou peut-être pas. Il faudrait qu'on trouve ce dernier mystérieux homme. Hop. Examinons ce petit fil au microscope. Donc, tissu noir.
Let us take a close. It is not a thread, but a hair. I very much doubt that it is human.
Pas humain.
I need to compare this sample with a human hair and a horse hair. A shaving brush is usually made from horsehair. Watson, could you please pass me your shaving brush?
Ah, le bureau c'est pour se raser, c'est le gros truc.
Watson, look, what's outside the window?
Well, I don't see anything. Ouch! Holmes!
Oh, don't make such a fuss. One little hair.
What?
This is a human hair. The horse hair is thinner than that. So, this black hair belongs to an animal, and it is larger than a horse. A hair from a large and exotic animal.
Un animal plus gros. C'est quoi ce truc? Un animal plus gros que...
Hello, Toby. All you need now is a shawl and a...
Où est-ce qu'on doit aller? Est-ce qu'on retourne à Halfmoon Street? Allons au prêteur de gage encore, mais... J'ai du mal. Hein. Un animal... Pas d'animal. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a là? Acrobate de l'homme qui s'est enfui après le crime de la faune et peut-être un acrobate de cirque qui est parvenu à escalader un mur de 10 mètres. On a une veste sur laquelle tu trappes. Ah, ouais. Ah. Aperçu uniquement par la fille en escaladant, c'est un acrobate confié. Demandez à Wingings de trouver le cirque. Ah voilà. En plus je vais exactement là. Ah non, merde, je suis pas allé au bon endroit. Wingings n'est pas là. Désolé, oui. On va trouver. Donc il y a un cirque à côté. Et Wingings est dans Halfmoon Street. Je pense qu'on va avoir le fin mot de l'histoire, mes chers amis. On va être espérons que ça arrive en moins de 10 minutes. Sinon ça fait quand même encore 2 heures. Ok, Wiggins, où es-tu, mon ami? Encore avec une cinématique avec le gendarme, sûrement. Voilà, c'est reparti, une histoire. Le gendarme le surveille et tout ça.
Wiggins, my lad, what are you doing here? You'd best be leaving and be quick about it.
I've done nothing wrong. You'd learn more by watching Mr. Holmes. He knows exactly what he's doing. Not like you.
Oi, watch your tongue.
Mr. Holmes?
We have good news for you, Wiggins. The investigation has proven very interesting so far. We found facts and details that confirm your brother's innocence.
I knew it, Mr. Holmes.
But for now, Wiggins, we need your help.
Anything you like, Gov.
I need you to locate a circus that has stopped over in London. It needs to have disposed of at least one exotic animal. A very large one.
You can count on me, Mr. Holmes.
Plus tard. Ding ding. Non? On va à Baker Street. On rentre à la maison. Hop. Ou sinon on va le matin suivant. Ah, le matin suivant déjà. D'accord.
I do hope that those children don't get into trouble, Holmes.
Don't worry, Watson. I predict some news in 7 seconds.
Mr. Holmes, we found it. Here it is.
And this is a young Indian elephant, the highlight of the show. Duval Brothers, a well-known travelling circus that is currently stopped in London. I believe that is exactly the type of circus we are looking for. I'll pay it a visit.
On aurait pu accuser directement. En fait, faut aller plus loin de l'histoire, faut pas prendre les évidences, quoi. Pour bien finir le jeu. Tout corrobore le fait que c'est lui l'innocent. Donc je suppose que le prochain mec qu'on va rencontrer, c'est lui le coupable.
Hey, you! Stop right there.
Good morning, sir. Pardon me, but why am I not allowed to walk around here?
Because it's private.
Well, I only wanted to meet the artistes.
Hmm? You're wanting to apply for... Nah. You don't look like the type of, artistic lockpicker that we're looking for.
You might be surprised.
What? Nah. I don't think so. Clear off. You're a bit slow to catch on, eh? You're a bit slow to catch on, eh? Get lost.
Non.
You're a bit slow to catch on, eh? You're a bit slow to catch on, eh? Get lost.
Je comprends pas.
You're a bit slow to catch on, eh? Get lost.
Attends, mais il y a bien... Si ça, je reviens à Baker Street. Donc... Bon, d'accord.
You're a bit slow to catch on, eh?
Bon,
Get lost.
bon, on va dire qu'on va s'arrêter là pour le moment et on reprendrait ça un peu plus tard, après dîner. À tout à l'heure.